Hello, and welcome to our Sensei Labs Enterprise Orchestration Era Meet the Maestros series, where we spend some time discussing and learning from industry leaders, maestros for their clients and organizations, about how they're helping innovative organizations thrive in today's enterprise orchestration era. Today, I'm thrilled to have with us a longtime Sensei Labs partner and distinguished industry visionary, Jonathan Anscombe from Kearney. Welcome, Jonathan.
Hi, Jay. Great to have this opportunity to have a chat with you.
So let's jump right in. Today's enterprise orchestration era demands that enterprises must effectively orchestrate their people, processes, and technology to drive better outcomes faster. Jonathan, maybe you could tell us about some of the key challenges you're facing in working with your clients to align people, process, and technology for strategic transformations. How are you working to improve?
Kearney's really been focusing very much on this whole area of strategic transformation over the last few years. And I've been in this business nearly 30 years now, and I've seen a real change in the way that clients are starting to think about transformation. Because it used to be, some change had taken place in the outside environment, or there was some trigger. That needed to, and the client felt they needed to sort of transform their activities from sort of point A to point B. But everything is much more fluid now, and you're starting to see the challenge for organizations really is much more about continuous change and about capabilities, about sensing what's going on, about predicting what's going on. So we're seeing a real shift away from, I'm point A, I want to do this, I want to be point B, then I'm going to sit there for a while. It's now, I need to fundamentally change the way my business works to be much more fluid, much more agile, much more sort of responsive, much more engaging with both customers. So there's been a real sort of shift in what people are looking for.
Yeah, we see the same across our customers. Definitely a move towards a state of evolution rather than the idea that this is a fixed project to go from state A to state B, as you said. I would say ongoing disruption has really caused organizations to accelerate their strategic and certainly digital transformation initiatives. And it's really driving an accelerated adoption of new technologies. So when you think about the work that Kearney's doing with your clients, how are both you and those client organizations adapting to change and innovating?
Obviously organizations always use technologies, but so often it's been seen as sort of, a cost function I need to think about, and how am I going to need to use SAP to sort of make my finance process working better. But there is a much more shift towards an understanding of how selective technologies can quite dramatically change the capabilities of an organization. And so our model is changing. And many of the things that we would have done for the client, or help the client with now, instead we're now bringing technologies to enable them to do that. Now, companies over many, many years have invested in lots of, you might say, some infrastructural processing technologies, but you're now starting to see them looking for very different types of technologies, collaboration technologies, a lot of technologies around data. It's not just about collecting data, it's about making data useful, acting on it, bringing intelligence out of it. Yes, there's AI, people get very excited about AI, and AI is fine, but actually, just even knowing in real time what is going on in your organization is pretty dramatic. I mean, I always used to joke that, that Amazon knows more about you than you do, but many organizations would struggle with the question, how many people work for you? So it's a really different set of technologies. And now that we're finding that when we're going to help clients in transformation, the kind of technologies that that they're using, that we're going to work with, new technologies that we're bringing to them, is really part of that whole value proposition. And now attempting to come along to a transformation and doing it all with sort of Excel and PowerPoint is just ridiculous, really. So it's moved on. And technology and consulting are becoming very intertwined, as indeed are management and technology. So there's a real sort of shift going on here.
I remember a conversation that you and I have had in the past about how when you started your career, you were basically using spreadsheets and slides. They just weren't in Excel and PowerPoint yet. And then the biggest technology shift that had happened was they moved into Excel and PowerPoint. And then it had basically been the same set of tools since then. And certainly the rate of transformation under COVID has accelerated all of these things. And now everybody has adopted those tools. So maybe you can comment for us about how Kearney's strategic consulting teams are currently operating, and do they have the right tools and data needed to perform? So, for example, are you automating low-value work that the team is doing today so that they can focus on the higher value strategic work that your clients are really looking for and paying for?
We certainly, and these vary from, we do a lot of procurement work. A lot of the early, we used to do a lot of work in creating huge databases, and now there's completely automated with AI tools. It's just not very well, and actually we have offshore facilities, we have outsourced facilities which we can integrate about. And that's happening all over our value proposition. I mean, particularly where we've been working is around the whole transformation management area, where there's all program management, also data management, and trying to understand the impacts of actually what we're trying to do in a very real-time way. And although you can talk about low value added, that makes it sound that really underplays the value of technology. If I'm talking to a CEO, for instance, and we're talking about a big transformation program, he doesn't particularly want having 3 or 4 people in the program office who can help it, but it's not a big deal for him. Having a real-time readout of impact on EBITDA as opposed to once a month is a big deal. So it's not about elimination of non-value added in one way, though that is useful and helpful. It is about fundamentally transforming the information available to leadership to be able to guide the organization. And that is worth immensely more than the fact that I'm saving a few people. So I think it's non-value added sort of underplays the role of technology, and certainly that's what we found. It's been very interesting that we've seen. If we position some of these technologies that more efficiently, and the clients are generally uninterested. If you're saying, but I can actually inform you of where you should be looking, I can highlight to you issues that are occurring before you know about them. They get really, really excited about
that ability to sort of turn the data lens inward. As you said, Amazon knows more about you than you probably know about yourself, but taking those same technologies and being able to apply them inward looking inside of an organization does give you that data as a sixth sense, as we talked about in the Decoded Company back years ago when we published it. And that, I think, is changing the expectations that people have about what happens in the workplace and about how predictive we should be able to be in the enterprise to kind of match that consumer expectation that we've developed through things like certainly like Amazon or Netflix recommendation engine or Facebook's newsfeed. So what are you seeing in terms of a shift in the client's expectations regarding what you bring to the table for technology-enabled solutions for strategic transformations? What's the sort of, let's say, minimum table stakes for tech enablement for Kearney to be able to win new client business today?
So clients don't want to be, they want us to bring technologies to them, but they don't want to be trapped by those technologies, if you got what I mean. Because there is, there is a realistic concern that you don't want to be sort of locked into something forever. So being able to really bring, and this is really, I think, where Kearney's mindset is now, it's about trying to find the best in class technology partners that we can work with to try and really bring them to our clients, with us almost brokering that relationship. And if you can get that, then you've got something really, really, really powerful. As that large project we're still working on today. We in the Middle East, they said, you're not going to use Excel, are you? If we had said yes, then we just simply wouldn't have got the work. So yeah, it's becoming a table stake. I mean, the idea of going with Excel and PowerPoint now as your only tools is not really going to win you any favors or any work.
Maybe let's wrap up on sort of helping maybe some of our viewers to understand how they should be thinking about planning transformation initiatives. So if we can kind of think about what your advice to them would be if they are planning a transformation today, what should be their North Star to guide them?
One of the most important things we start to, when we're talking about clients going on this transformation journey, is to recognize it is a journey, and that what they want now is not going to be what they're going to want tomorrow, is not going to be what they want in the future, right? And it's very common, particularly if organizations are sort of relatively new to the scene and haven't either been used to doing big transformational programs or using technologies to want something really simple. That's fine, but they kind of grow out of that in about a month. So I think one thing that we would say is that when you're selecting technologies and technology, but the partner is as important as technology, right? And how you work with them and how flexible that technology is, because if you try to overspecify everything, start with something too complicated, you'll never get it right. You know, this is really about slowly building the capabilities and experimenting and understanding progressively more and more and more about your business and getting more and more and more powerful. So, you know, if you want to be agile, the journey to agile is an agile process, right? And therefore, the idea that you're going to spend 8 weeks and specify a system to last for 5 years, well, that's never going to work, right? So I think that's what we would start to say is that understand it's a journey. You've got to try to choose partners who you know you can work with, technologies which are going to be flexible and going to grow with you, and be clear about the people you want to work with. These people you're going to be working with probably for several years. You've got to build a trust-based relationship with them. So it's all, you know, it's understanding about the evolutionary nature of technology, and also, I mean, the technologies themselves change so fast. I mean, we've been working on this for 4 years, and it transforms every few months. So yes, it's more of a developmental process, and the companies themselves and the individuals themselves will learn to use data in a different way. It will influence the culture of the organization. It will change the culture of the organization. And what may seem to be scary today will be second nature tomorrow.
So thank you, Jonathan, for your great insights and guidance. Always enjoy a conversation with you. And I'm sure that our viewers will appreciate hearing from today's Maestro. Thanks for tuning in.